And we're live. I don't have any of those fancy intros or anything. Uh, we don't have the budget for it here.
Live
But
Sunday night, we are here with Shellback
right,
TJC
yeah,
talking about stuff that we enjoy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're going to talk about stuff we hate.
yeah,
We are glad that you joined us here
yeah,
with Shellback TJC on this 5-year anniversary with the most hated
yeah.
guinea pig on YouTube, the Guinea Pig Collective. Huh? What's going on?
Right.
There you go, fancy intro.
Yeah. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. But yeah. It's been 5 years since the first little video that I tried to put on here and make something out of. I uh, I went over to the other side of the inlet to the town next door and did a little video on the what is it, a destroyer or something that they have over there, or a cruiser? I can't even remember. um. Anyway, it's there's a ship across the water called the Turner Joy, and so yeah, I went over there and made a video about it on Pearl Harbor Day. Because I was like, I didn't know, exactly, when to start or whatever, when to put out my first video, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll, try and pick a day of some significance or whatever. And you know having been in the United States Navy, I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, let's do it on Pearl Harbor Day. And so anyway, i uh, I did that, and I tried making some other videos about veteran stuff. And because at the time, I was um, living in a transitional housing facility for homeless veterans. Um, and I was like, oh, hey, I'm going to do some videos, on veterans issues and stuff. And because, it's like I come onto YouTube, and because I was looking for Star Wars stuff. You know, grew up, being a Star Wars fan. Um, and I actually, I mean, I guess maybe I'm kind of weird because I like Star Wars and Star Trek, um, and sci-fi in general. But anyway, I was,
I'm in the same boat. I mean,
yeah,
I grew up because, 72. So I
yeah,
grew up watching the old Star Trek on TV with my father. So,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
when the Star Wars movies came out, he took me to see them because he was in the sci-fi. Of course, we watched Battlestar
mm,
Galactica, Buck Rogers. We were into all that type of stuff. So,
yeah,
I mean, there. I think a lot of the older school fans of sci-fi were into both, and I don't really
mm,
think that like the divide, because remember there was a huge
yeah,
divide between Star Wars and Star Trek fans at one point. I don't think that really happened until much later on. I want to say sometime around like Next Generation is when you start
yeah,
seeing this divide between the two franchises.
mm, yeah. I don't know. But which I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with me, growing up in, bumfuck, Missouri. But um, I had the reason I was like a quote unquote Star Wars fan, is because I liked it. It's basically like a western in space, or whatever. And it's like, Star Trek was more. I don't know. I don't really want to use the word civilized, but you know, it wasn't, quote unquote Wild West, like Star Wars was. And which it's funny because uh, when TNG came around, it's like it kind of uh, kind of filled that gap or whatever that because there wasn't any more Star Wars. Um, but anyway, I got on YouTube um, uh, about 5.5 years ago, looking for Star Wars content, and ended up finding old Jeremy on Geeks and Gamers. And one day he was like, uh, just talking to the chat in general, and he's like, if you want to get on here and talk about stuff and start do it, just do it, he's like, uh don't be scared, to put yourself out there, just make videos. And I'm like, okay, like, and like I said, at the time I was in that transitional place, and I'm like, oh, I'll make some meaningful content, about homeless veterans and whatnot. And yeah, those couple of videos or whatever, got like a whopping like 30 or something views. In fact, uh, you know those meaningful videos that I was making, uh, even to this day, are still like in the 30 something to 60 something range, after after 5 freaking years. But
Well, I think
you
sometimes when
know
you put content up, though, there is no right or wrong. It's a lot of times I think it really is a crapshoot with some of it, because I've seen it
mhm,
with my own videos. I've seen some of my videos do fairly well, and now I'll do a video that's very similar to the one that did very well. Not purposely. It just happens to be the same type of content that I'm doing, whether it's battle bots or toy
yeah,
reviews. I'll have one that does really well. The next one is done similar because it's a similar type of toy or a similar battle bot setup or whatever it is, and that one does
mhm,
shit, but the other one did great. And you really cannot put any rhyme or reason to why some of these things do well or don't do well. It's some of it's
yeah,
a game with YouTube, and I know many of us know. Hey, what's up, Deej?
yeah,
Deej knows about the games YouTube plays, and congratulations to Deej. Got
yeah.
monetized. Got the was that the full monetization, Deej, or was that just the intro level monetization? But he recently got there. Congrats to him. What's up, DJ
Yeah.
Ronnie G? He
Yeah,
says happy
and
Turtle Day. But there's no. I don't think there's a right or wrong, Tim. I think
yeah,
it's a matter of sometimes it really is a matter of luck. It is a matter
mhm,
of luck and just getting
yeah,
a video up at the right time at that right moment when people happen to see it, and whether or not it gets
mhm,
pushed.
yeah. But yeah, and welcome to the people that are uh, filtering into the chat there, and old Ken Jack Ben freaking said hello before, like way before we even got on this thing.
And
But
Pumpkin Steve.
but yeah, and it's DJ Ronnie G just kind of reminded me that like on Snowdub's channel, um, he has to use a different deal. Like he can't get on Snowdub's channel as DJ Ronnie G. And it, and Punk Waddle was like saying that there's channels that he can't get on as Punk Waddle, and stuff, and it's like, so I guess YouTube or somebody's playing some shenanigans on people. Um, but
They always
but,
are. They
but
always are,
yeah,
man. You know, I that self term that I give myself, the most hated guinea pig on YouTube. It is for
yeah,
a reason. And anybody who knows me and knows the bullshit that I put up with on the channel, they understand where I'm coming from with it. And what's up to RR? RR's also in the chat.
yeah, yeah. RR's been around for a while, but yeah, uh, but yeah, just stay on them there, Ronnie. But yeah, it's like I said, I got on here and tried to make some meaningful content and didn't really go anywhere. So I kind of tried to switch gears and you know do some like some lame ass movie reviews and stuff like that. And it's and then then I've tried uh, streaming, doing like current events, news, whatever uh, type stuff, and it's like trying to do that, and then like deal with real life, and it's like real life kind of makes you not really give a shit about trying to trying to do this YouTube crap, and um, but yeah, it's like you. So I mean, I've I've had moments of inspiration and desperation and uh, freaking disappointment and everything else. It seems like over these you know past 5 years, which
No, I think
it's,
I think everybody has been in that point. I mean, here's I've always said this, and I will never stop saying it. Um, the first thing you got to remember is like especially with a platform like YouTube, and we know all the games that they play. You can't really expect a whole lot out of them, and I know I don't. As a matter of fact, I always say, would it be nice to get monetized? Oh, it'd be wonderful to get monetized. It'd be nice to know that I can get monetized, and maybe at the very least, I can get something out of doing the YouTube stuff to at least cover the cost, what it costs for StreamYards and all that other shit. But I don't
yeah,
expect it, and I think that's the number one.
yeah,
You can't really expect that. I mean, the first thing you got to do is you got to come on here, and you got to want to do it because you're having fun. Because once you're not
yeah,
having fun, that's when you start second guessing everything you're
yeah,
doing, and then you feel like you might have to fit into a certain pattern. You need to do content to cater to
yeah,
people. I have never done content to cater to anybody. As a matter of
yeah,
fact, I have been outwardly belligerent to some people that I completely disagree with because they want to give me a hard time. And I refuse to get off that horse. I'm going to be exactly who I was meant to be and who I am, and I'm not going to change it. I won't put on airs for people. Let's put it
yeah.
that way. So I've
Well,
always done content that I enjoyed first, and I think
yeah,
that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not quite as bitter as some people are about how
mm,
things are going for them on YouTube. Because I've seen a lot of bitter people. I've seen a lot of
yeah,
bitter people hang it up because it's like I can't make nothing happen doing it this way. You know what?
yeah,
If you're not having fun, it's just going to make it that much more miserable for you.
yeah,
And what's going on, CJH and irate specialist?
yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, and and that's part of it too. Like the part of the reasons why I've been really freaking really sporadic with stuff is it's like I don't want to come on here and feel like I'm working or whatever, which and I've talked to people and they're like oh if you want to go you got to grind, and it's like I'm like, I don't want to grind. you know, you know, I I want to, come on here and have a good time, and it's like it seems like so far I've just, I've when I've achieved, that, it's just been me being like a panelist on somebody else's channel or whatever. Um, and like hold on, we got somebody else popping in here. Oh, it's the pink bunny man.
I thought this would be the perfect subject for me to put my 2 cents in.
Oh, you got 2 cents? Shit,
Barely. I had to
right?
borrow one of them though.
I mean,
What is that 2 cents ad revenue from YouTube?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, well, I tell you what, if you give me your 2 cents, then I'll have four. But yeah, it's dude, I've like, which it's funny because the last time I went to the gas station, it was actually cheaper than the time before, and I'm like, is Bidenomics actually working? And then I slapped myself, and I'm like, you silly goose. I'm like, it's just because it's winter, and
So what you needed
you
to
know,
do is you need to go to the gas station, see that, and then give yourself a reality check by going to the grocery store.
oh yeah, trust me, I do that every damn day. Like, fuck. It's like, well, hell, what was it for Thanksgiving? Uh, I so I in the current economic times, I do some of my shopping at a food bank, and anyway, I got basically, I got like all the fixins, but I didn't get, a turkey or whatever. I didn't get the meat. So I went to the grocery store and I was looking at all the damn frozen turkeys and other birds. Even the like whole chickens and whatnot. And I was like looking at the fucking prices, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, 25, 30, whatever dollars for a damn, turkey. And I'm like, shit, it's like, if I'm gonna spend that much money, I'm just gonna go like way overboard, get myself a shotgun, go out and hunt and kill one my damn self. At least I'll have some fun. But, it's like, I actually ended up getting a thing of like chicken thighs for like $7, and I was like, that was like that was the best I could do.
You know what I really expected you to say? I was waiting for you to say, I just got a packet of sliced turkey luncheon meat and slapped it all together.
Dude, if I would have seen one that I thought was a decent price, I would have done that. I'm like, but
just mold it all together and make it look like a turkey.
But no, it's funny. I ended up kind of making. I guess I ended up kind of making myself like I guess you could call it a casserole. So I took. I got a crock pot, and if you don't have a crock pot, you should get one, because you can just put a bunch of stuff in there, turn on, and come back, 3, 4, 5 hours later, or whatever, and have you some food. But anyway, so what I ended up doing is, like, I had a box of the stuffing mix and some other stuff, and I ended up putting it all in the crock pot, and then I stuffed, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 chicken thighs down in there with it, and that was my Thanksgiving dinner. Um, but yeah, no, if I tried to, to go in the traditional route, no, there's no way that I was gonna uh, be able to spend that much money just to feed myself for that one day. But yeah, you got to be um, crafty or whatever at the grocery store these days. But uh,
So true. Parrothead, have a good one. Parrothead said can't stays at work. Have a great stream, man. What's up, Immortal Coil? What up, Coil? How you doing?
yeah, I was listening to him and freaking Mr. Treehugger last night, Walton, and he was doing a stream commemorating him having gone over the 500 subscriber mark.
But you're almost
So
there.
yeah, dude, I've been almost there for probably the last year or two.
I
But
remember. I remember the day when you were just trying to get over 300. I mean, Jesus, like
yeah,
what a struggle that was. Like every time you got over 300, they take a bunch away and get back over it again. They take a few more away. I'm telling you, it's just that game that they play. I mean, I was stuck at 500 for a few years before I found a way to just sneak around the algorithm. And like
yeah,
CJH was talking about earlier, like shorts is what actually got me past that mark. But then once I got past that mark and my channel started growing again, then all of a sudden they started doing other things because that's the game YouTube plays. I mean, I see Deej had put
right.
something that they're going through his old content and they're
Yeah,
freaking.
I wake up this morning and I have 3 content claims against me from 2021. One of them was from yeah, a damn Risk game.
Yeah.
One of
Well,
them was from my own video that we played on somebody else's channel. And then another one was somebody else had come on and showed part of his video, and they nailed me for his.
well, it's funny when it comes to stuff like that. So, like, um, me and old Immortal Coil were at the Emerald City Comic Con, and we went and watched the what was it, the Star Wars Rebels people, I think it was, and they all up on stage, and so I took my phone here out and was recording it from my seat in the audience, and I'm like, okay, so I'll record this this panel discussion, and then I'll upload it to YouTube, and then me and Coil or whatever can get on there and and talk about it, right? Do a stream about it. And I uploaded it, on private mode or whatever, and it still got claimed. I'm like, it's not even public yet, and there's already a freaking claim on it, and I'm like, but
I
I
have
don't.
literally seen videos that I've put
Yeah.
up, and this is content that I've created myself, 100% myself, and
Mm,
I've gotten a claim on it before it even finished uploading. I'm like,
yeah.
are you kidding me? It's not even upload. It's still uploading, and you're already leveling a claim on it. Of course, I fought it and got the claim removed. But yeah, that's how ridiculous they become. And I seen our irate specialists saying, yeah, Rumble don't have the numbers, but they don't play the games like YouTube. But I've said it a few times. Like, if Rumble was to actually seriously start competing with YouTube, I might consider YouTube so secondary that I might not even worry about uploading content to it anymore. I might just focus on Rumble. But unfortunately, yeah, they don't have those numbers yet. It's like a lot of the other ones that came before them, you know, BitChute, Odyssey. They're all decent. And well, I wouldn't say BitChute is decent, but Odyssey is a decent enough platform. But they, once again, yeah, they do not have the traffic. I mean, that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. And which it's funny because I've heard that Rumble is more, streaming friendly, the channels that, end up, the channels on here that do more streaming than just videos, but like you said, it's like they still don't have the subscribers or whatever, the subscriber numbers over on Rumble aren't as much as they are here on YouTube still. But anyway, so the Coil, you or anybody else that is in the chat, excuse me, I know Coil is, but if anybody else happens to be in any of the Twitterics, I've almost pretty much refused to just call it X, because I'm like, Elon, you're a smart dude, you're a billionaire, but you are for shit on coming up with names for your fucking companies.
I'll tell you what, it'll always be
except
me.
Tesla, Tesla, fine,
he didn't even come up with that name. He bought it.
Well, it's a cool name, but like what is it? SpaceX, and it's like, I'm gonna buy Twitter. What are you gonna call it? X, what the fuck, dude? I mean, at least, like, okay, throw the X on the end of Twitter, call it Twitter X, or put something with X, not just have X. But anyway, if any of you guys are in any of those DM chats that I put links into, please feel free to come on and shoot the shit with us, because the more the merrier. Anyway,
you see what Irate Specialist has said. That's promising to hear. I'd like to see it happen. There's a few other things I'd like to see Rumble do. He said I talked with reps from Rumble. They promised me next year they're going to focus on non-streamers as well. And content creators. Yeah, I mean, content creators spend a lot more time doing stuff than a streamer. Just like somebody who just streams and just talks topics. If they don't have something like well planned out, a lot of streams, they're pretty easy to throw together. You can just jump on and talk about whatever. Now, when you're actually planning stuff out, and I know I've run into this problem a lot with the toy stream, I got to shoot videos because I can't get my camera usually to work long enough to be able to show it off live. So I have to create videos, clip them down, upload them to StreamYard just so I could have all that to do a live stream. So there's a lot of extra steps that goes into that. So, I mean, if they could focus more on content creators, that would be great. Another thing I wish they would do is fix the account problem that they have over there. So when you create a Rumble, you got your account name and then you have your channel name, and they always tend to get them mixed up on Rumble. So you might wind up having everybody subscribing to your account name and not your channel name where all your content is. So it's really, I don't know why they did it that way. Your channel and your account should be the same one unless you're creating a secondary channel off that account. I don't know why they did it that way.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, what was it? Odyssey, right? Everybody, when everybody was like, oh, hey, get yourself an Odyssey, like as a backup and stuff. And then, and people, watch stuff over there too, and it's like, but it was like, oh well, you got to have 300 subscribers, and then you know, they'll reload up all your content over from YouTube to Odyssey, and so I did that, but I still don't think all my stuff got transferred over, and as far as like viewership, it's never really gone anywhere. But I haven't even tried to start a Rumble, but maybe someday if I actually, you know, reach like the 1,000 subscribers or whatever over here, maybe I'll
You don't
maybe
need
I'll
1,000
think
here
about doing
anymore.
Rumble or something. But
Oh, nice. I rate
No,
a
yeah.
specialist also says the
Yeah.
account name issue is being fixed. That would be awesome because I think that's one of the things that really does piss off a lot of people when it's that mess up with the account name and the channel name. It is irritating. But
No,
yeah,
you don't need 1,000.
at one time when they first started Odyssey, you needed 500 in order to transfer. And then they knocked it down to 300. And I heard that they were talking about knocking it down again. I don't know if they ever did.
Yeah. So right here just makes me think of like, the current life we're living or whatever, and the way that some people want it to go. It's like, imagine you don't behave on X and they kill your electric car. It's like, people, it makes me think of, what was it, iRobot, right? When he's in his car and the big trucks of freaking robots, start to like box him in and shit, and he has to like take over his own car, but then they're trying to freaking, it's like, yeah, that's why I'm like, not really a fan of, electric cars and autonomous and all this crap, it's like, but it's like, it seems like that's what they're some people are trying to push us, into the, uh, just being a damn passenger through life. But anyway, what is what is this? Rumble also transfers unlisted and private videos, which stupid. I don't know what that means, man. Speak
Well, if you got
English.
an unlisted video or a private one,
Translate that for me.
pulls it over too, but it'll be visible.
I don't know. Is anybody getting some
Hearing
feedback? But I don't
Hear a
know
little.
who it's.
It's Tommy.
Blame the guinea pig.
They're chewing the wires again, folks.
Right. No, but like I was saying earlier, it's like, there's all this stuff that people were doing,
Is that
on
better?
YouTube. I can still hear it. But it's like, there's a cajillion other people out there that are talking about the same damn thing, and it's like, well, what can I do, to make it a little bit different or whatever, or to get eyes on me? And I'm like, I don't know. So, I just like, I just let it go by, because I'm like, I'm not gonna try and rack my brain, about this shit, and because you know, it would just take away the, enjoyment value, of because, it's like, me and Tommy were talking about, it's like uh, part of the reason I came on here in the first place, was to actually, have some fun or get some enjoyment out of doing this, you know. And it's like, you know, if I'm, uh, you know, even if it's about a serious subject, if I'm not, you know, if I'm not having fun or, you know, feeling like I'm getting anywhere with it, you know, it's like, but
No,
with,
I think that's part of it. You know, number one is having fun,
yeah,
but you know, it's also the expectation level. Like, you know, some
yeah,
people, I know there's a lot of people that come on YouTube and they really expect, like, oh, I'm going to reach for the stars and I'm going to have the super big channel and blah 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 blah. I mean, once you start getting into that mindset, that's when you've actually defeated yourself, because then it becomes even more depressing when you don't
yeah,
get to those levels that you expect to get in a certain time, and you
yeah.
may see other people pass you by that came out of nowhere. And the minute you
Hmm.
start looking at them, like, well, how did they get there?
Yeah,
That's when you've already
yeah.
defeated yourself.
And
Yeah,
I, you know, you know, I've actually suffered some of that, you know. And uh but you know, I mean, I try not to, but at the same time, it's like you know, it's like I almost can't help, you know, help it, you know. But you know,
it's like I seriously never thought I'd get monetized, and I still wouldn't be right now if YouTube didn't change their rules again.
hmm.
Because now it's only 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours.
Really, when did that happen?
Well, that's the what they call the partnership program. So it's
Yeah,
not full. Yeah, it's not full monetization.
it's not full. You can
Yeah,
get super chats, you can get the super stickers, you can get
I think channel
people.
memberships though.
Well, you get a
Yeah.
little bit. You get the channel memberships, and you can have access to somebody
Yeah.
alive at YouTube.
What now? See, I did hear the thing about memberships opening up for people that had like 500 uh subscribers, but as far as super chats, you know, and
Yep, I
stuff
got
like that,
I
I
got the super chats, and I got all them, and I'm
but
still not at 1,000 subs.
yeah,
They changed
but
that, I think, back in June, but you
yeah,
had to read your emails because if you go into your freaking one thing on your channel itself, it still tells you 1,000, 4,000 watch hours, all that garbage.
Yeah, well,
But it was
I think if you go through mobile and look at it, so if you look at your account through the mobile end, you will see it there.
I've
Yeah, but
never
yeah,
used I've never used mobile for YouTube. It's
see,
always on my
as far as
computer.
like checking like account stuff, and 9 times out of 10 replying to comments, I use the mobile because it's a little bit easier for me to do it that way than the PC. I don't know why. Like when I go to reply to comments on the PC, it usually just spins and spins and spins. You know, CenturyLink,
yeah.
wonderful.
I finally
Well,
I finally
well,
sat
I
down one day just going through my email and I found it by accident.
well, I had a computer, and then somebody stole it out of my car. So, um, I've, you know, so yeah, I started on a phone, and I got myself a laptop. Had a laptop for a while, but it got stolen out of the car, and I've been back on a phone ever since. Um, so it it is definitely a low rent production here, but yeah, excuse me. I swear, like I was telling Tommy before we went live, I'm like, you know, about 2 o'clock or whatever. I'm not sure what time, but you know, I started getting this freaking scratchy feeling in my throat, and I'm like, of course, you know, it's like I schedule a fucking stream, you know, for 3 o'clock, and you know, 2 o'clock I start getting freaking scratchy throat. So, but but yeah, you know, I've just uh the whole uh expectation, disappointment, and all this stuff, you know, and it's like, you know, I'm like, why, you know, why the hell, you know,
Well,
you know,
I
why
never.
the hell, you know, freaking put myself through the ringer, you know, just to freaking, you know, have some people watch a damn video or whatever, and uh, you know, it's like that, and just, you know, trying to freaking survive the real world. You know, it's like that's uh kind of why I just, you know, why I've been so sporadic
I've never
in
tailored
content
anything to
and
try
stuff.
to get monetized. I just come on and do a stream to have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That
Well, that, you know, like I said, you know, that's like I was saying earlier. You know, I've done that too, but it seems like I've been doing it on other people's channels. You know, not on mine. Um, and you know, one in particular is has been Snow Dub. Uh, you know, having, and you know, particularly here, like say like the last 6 months, um, when I went out and got myself a puppet, and you know, I actually joined the, you know, like the Cotton Council or whatever, and it's like, you know, I'm actually on there having fun, you know, and so you know, that's been a kind of a godsend or whatever you want to say, as far as this doing this whole YouTube thing, you know, because it's like, um, yeah, I'm just having fun.
Well, I mean, and
But
that's what you should be doing. I mean, yeah, I mean, let's you talk about like doing stuff for other people. I mean, like, yeah, I know you've seen it, you know, and a lot of other people that know me have seen it. Like, how many years did I sit there and I'd not focus on anything that I wanted to do, and I was more concerned with modding like 10 million freaking channels, and that was pretty much all I was doing, and like nonstop to the point where I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do.
mm,
At some point, I mean, personally for me, and I'm not saying this is your situation, but for me, I had to cut a lot of that off and start focusing on what I wanted to do with my channel
yeah,
and the stuff that I felt was fun and the stuff that I wanted to do and wanted to show off to people. And even though I don't always get the interactions because of the, you know, once again, the games that's always played, you know, because for whatever reason, YouTube gets it in their heads about a certain people, and they say, okay, well, you're leaning this way, or your agenda's this way, or whatever it is that they decide that they want to hate you for, and they play the games in the algorithm with people. And I've talked with people where people that got bigger channels and they've had like hundreds to sometimes thousands of views just stripped away off of videos. The watch hour,
mm,
you know, the views are supposed to be there, but all the watch hours are gone. It's just the games they play. So I try not to focus on that aspect quite as much. And it's not to say I don't notice it and I don't get pissed
yeah,
off. But what I tend to focus on more is like the comments and the interactions that I get with people that are actually watching the videos. That is usually the
mm,
high point of my day with all the videos, like all the comments that I get from them. And that's why I always
yeah,
try to make it my number one point throughout the day to try to get to as many of those comments as I possibly can. And of course, you know, the games, once again, YouTube plays, they bury a lot of comments. So I will pick one day a week where I won't do hardly anything at all. And I will just go through the list of comments that YouTube has hidden and then try to reply. And unfortunately, sometimes that might be 2, 3 weeks, maybe even a month or more later. But I always try to get back to those comments because I think that's more important than anything is that interaction. You're developing a rapport with the people that are watching your channel and that are enjoying your content. So I mean, to me, that makes it all worthwhile. Even the nonsense that I put up with YouTube and the bullshit that they're always playing with the copyright claims and everything else, it's the interaction that I'm getting with these
mm,
people that are stopping by because they're taking their time out of their day to sit there and watch something that I put together and then let me know what they appreciate about it. I really do. I respect their time that they're putting in for that. And I really do appreciate it every single time. So, I mean, you got to look towards that and try to make that more the focus of your day instead of worrying
yeah,
about the shenanigans they're playing. You know what? It's one of those things, if you keep at it, law of averages say that you're going to have to win eventually, right, Deech?
Yep.
Yeah. That kind of makes me think of the broken clock being right twice a day thing.
I'm
But
the broken sundial. I was
yeah,
right once.
right. Um. So actually, that's kind of already been thought of. Um. Uh. I I was talking to Wes Moody one time, and he was he was telling me, because we were talking about um, uh, how did it go? Anyway, it was basically it had something to do with oh, I think I was telling him, about the one video that I did a long time ago. I was at the public library and I saw this Angry Birds book about Star Wars, right? So I bring the book, home, and I put it down on the desk or dresser or whatever, and I pointed the camera towards it, and I was just flipping through the pages, pointing at the pictures and making comments, just silly ass comments and stuff. And Wes was like, he's like, you should do that more or whatever, and just like a, just like a, just like a messed up, freaking nursery rhyme freaking channel or something like that. And I was like, yeah, maybe, maybe someday or whatever. And but yeah, since I've been messing around with old Rudolph on Snowdub's channel, uh, if which I should give him his own channel, make a Rudolph channel. And one of the things that I would do on the Rudolph channel would be to, uh, have him read like, nursery rhymes or kid book stories. Do stuff like, Hickory Dickory Dock. Mouse ran up the clock. Uh, the clock struck one, and that was the end of that mouse. Some, stuff like that. Um, but so yeah, it's it's making its laps around the old brain pan. Um, so that's a very good that's a very good possibility um, for a Rudolph to talk about. But
And remember, it would go whenever you do that kind of stuff. Though, I mean, the
yeah,
first thing once again is always having fun with it because there's a few of those music videos that I put together that I spent innate amounts of time putting together. Like it took forever to put some of these things together, and they didn't get tremendous
yeah,
views. But I just had so much fun putting them together that I just had a tremendous laugh for just just
yeah.
just seeing the finished video myself. And to me, that was a kick. So yeah, you
Which
know what though, don't get yourself too invested in how much time you put in it. Just remember all the time that you invested is because you're having fun doing it first off, and then
yeah,
even if it doesn't do tremendously well, it's something that you can look back on yourself and have a good laugh at. I mean, I do it all the time. I mean, shit. One of them I freaking use as an outro on my channel now when I did that Pig World Order. I mean, I don't care. It didn't get tremendous views as a video. I just
yeah.
laugh at that thing with the pig squeaking in the background. It cracks me the hell up every single time. So there is
But
that.
yeah, and which, in a way, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, why I'm, keep dragging my feet on, making a Rudolph channel because, like, with that, I actually come on here and I actually, I for lack of a better term, I let loose more, when I'm doing the Rudolph thing. as opposed to, you know, being
Maybe
myself.
you feel there's less pressure
But
doing
yeah,
it that way.
but well, that, and I don't know, it just it seems like, you know, when we're all sitting here with a freaking, you know, piece of fabric stuck on our hands, you know, we can, you know, say and do more stuff than, you know, if when we're actually on here as ourselves. You know, it's like it's like, you know, it's like they kind of let you get away with more or something. I don't know, maybe, but yeah. Oh, and again, you know, sorry about the coughing and all that stuff. Um, uh, the 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 YouTube gods don't want me to talk very much, apparently. Um. Oh wait. Somebody else is finally rolling in here. Who we got? Ah, it's it's my
Evening,
neighbor.
gentlemen. Yeah. Well, I've been piping up in the chat and you've been squawking back at
Yeah.
me, so I figured I might as well just get on here for a little bit and
Well, I
kind of
told
help
you
kick
to.
around some ideas.
Mm,
Yeah, man, I think I think a channel with Rudolph would be a really good idea. And I was actually kind of picturing like, remember after G.I. Joe, like he'd come out and be like, "Hey kids, don't do drugs," but Rudolph would be like, "Hey, don't be a fucking, idiot or whatever." I
yeah.
almost said the F bomb, the other F bomb, but I know you can get in trouble on YouTube now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We they you might get in trouble about talking about the Film Actors Guild. Yeah.
Yeah, but and I tend to side with non-creepy Louis C.K. on that thing where he's like, "Hey, stop being a film actors guild guy and suck that dick." It has a different connotation to my head because I'm not disparaging homosexuality. I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
don't
Right. Yeah.
don't bend the knee and be the kind of beta
Yeah.
bitch that society is trying to program you to be.
So what I'm hearing Immortal Coil saying is he wants to see you in character doing a PSA where
Yeah,
kids
except it's like
don't go down on the feminine peen.
Yeah, exactly. Except it's like an adult PSA. The other thing that I thought would be funny is if you were doing shorts about how terrible a roommate he is. Like you come home and you find like, cigarettes everywhere or something, and Rudolph's like passed out, and you're like, dude.
Yeah. But and you know, it's funny with all the puppet stuff, because you know, talk about a somewhat expensive hobby. You know, I mean, I've
Uh,
heard about, I've heard about people, you know, spending like hundreds of dollars on
oh yeah, yeah. Snowdubs
on
has
these
had.
damn things. You know,
I understand Jolly has
and
undergone some cosmetic procedures over
you
the
know,
years, so I can't
and
imagine
me,
how much that
yeah,
guy's sunk into it.
but you know, like and was it like floral? You know, floral from under a rock. You know,
Hmm.
uh, you know, I was, he's spent, he spent a bit of money on his stuff too. But even, so like when I decided I wanted to like get more involved with with the Cotton Council stuff. Uh-oh, where'd he go? Did, uh,
Sorry,
what'd you do?
technology hiccup.
Yeah, hit
Yeah.
the wrong damn button or something?
Well, I did.
Um,
My actual laptop got fried, so I have to do everything by mobile now. Like I can't even share
oh,
screens on my own fucking
uh,
channel until I get
yeah,
rub some pennies together.
right, yeah. Oh well, I feel your pain. You know, like I said, I had gotten a freaking laptop, and then it got stolen out of
You
my
got ripped
car.
off.
So,
Yeah, dude. No, I
and
remember that.
I just haven't, you know, just haven't had the cash at any one at any one given time to replace it, or when I do, it seems like there's something else that is a little bit higher priority than
Right, like eating.
but
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. We need cash to buy things. With all the videos I keep
Yeah.
seeing, I thought we could just walk in the stores and take whatever we want.
Right.
Right, yeah. Just as long as it's under $900 or something. I don't know.
It's like $9.99, and the most they can do is stop you and demand that
Yeah.
you return
And
whatever. But if they put
speaking,
hands on you, then they're liable.
yeah. Speaking of which, I forget who it was, but anyway, I was watching something, and somebody, talking about, well, it's because, there's no consequences or whatever. So, they're people are just, more, emboldened, to just go in someplace and, get what they want and stuff. And
That's true.
I was I made a comment of because the place that I work, or well, they've like severely cut my hours, so like I'm hardly working. But anyway, the the place that's still technically my employer has a policy of like we can't try to apprehend the shoplifter, right? The most we can do is like follow them, you know, uh, kind of follow them out and like see where they go, But like we can't, like you could step outside the entrance, but um, they don't want you to follow them, through the parking lot or whatever. So it's oh the video cameras get it, and then we'll give it to the police, and let the police handle this stuff, and it's like and there are times when they do catch people, eventually, but it's like it's like the fucking border, the amount of people we catch versus the amount of people that they miss, it's like
This is like Arizona where they're waiting to get in.
These people know this, so they're like, they're not scared to just come into the store and get something and fucking leave. It ain't like it was back in the day. And
People even make videos about it now. They'll go in and film
yeah,
themselves like fucking up merchandise
yeah,
and throwing shit in carts and just walking past, or like
yeah,
doing that double stacking kind of scanning self-service station trick, which is
but
it's a symptom of the degradation of
yeah,
society.
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
but
well
the
here's a
thing is,
question. Could you perhaps just say you had like full body Tourette's and just take off running and just bowl them over?
I could, but then I could also lose my job because that is against the policy.
See, Tommy would have attack pigs at
Yeah,
the standby.
yeah.
They would actually
See,
work loss prevention.
right, and the premise behind this policy is for my safety, right? They don't want us to like try and be a hero, and possibly get hurt. So it's like for your safety, just let the person come in and freaking rip us off, and there you go.
See, what you got to do is you got to capture these individuals and you got to put them in a closed room and you got to put Helmet right here in front of them and tell them you need to explain to Helmet why you were trying to take food away from him by stealing from the store and just leave him there for hours.
Yeah. But
Right.
and it's funny too because like they have um shooter, they have
They have
videos,
snipers. They have a gun turret
that
up.
they have videos that we watch, for like training, that goes through the scenario of a person with a gun coming into the store and all this stuff, and it's like part of the video is like shows the bad guy has the gun and he's kind of pointing at somebody else, and then one of the employees is coming up behind him holding the damn fire extinguisher, and they're going to try and bonk him on the head with a fire extinguisher.
Wow.
Because
I hate
because we're not allowed to carry while we're at work, because just because maybe there's another coworker, and you get pissed off at them or something, and you want to kick their ass, but you actually have self-restraint, but they're like, well, just in case you don't have self-restraint, we don't want to put that extra added thing in there,
Well, do you
so
have your
it's like,
CPL? Because I mean, if it's concealed, how do they know?
right, no, and I do, and it's fingerprints and everything, just like if I was getting booked for a fucking crime, that I had to do, just so I can walk around with my pistol where people can't see it.
Well,
Right.
really quick, I want to say happy 5 years and 3 days. I'm being
Yeah.
paged by another YouTuber who wants me to be on a Christmas recording special for next week, or I don't know, something. I got to go figure out what the hell he's talking about.
Is it Life Day?
No, it's this YouTuber called Rabbit Aries that does 7 Days to Die content.
Okay.
He wants me to be part of the Christmas special he's putting together for all his channel. I guess he
Right
needs
on.
cannon fodder.
Well, we still need to get together and bitch about Doctor Who, man.
I know it. We got because that last episode just.
Yeah, the bifurcated fucking regeneration. What the hell is that about?
Yeah, and then the announcement that he made afterwards that it counts towards all the doctors.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to work. Like, if David Tennant dies, does he regenerate again, or is he done? Or what if the black dude dies?
I would think he'd regenerate again, and technically you'd have 4 Tennant doctors running around at this moment anyway.
That's nuts, dude.
It is.
They might, if they were smart, they would do an episode like that. But I mean, like the first one of this David Tennant run featured like a transformer, and they were constantly emasculating the doctor. So I don't have it. Plus Russell T Davies, like in interviews, I don't have any faith that show's gonna do anything different than it did.
Well,
with
hell,
Chin Balls.
At the end of the 3rd episode, Tennant was calling the transformer his niece. So,
right. And that actor, I don't know how to do that, is quite like an activist themselves. So I don't have any faith in the direction of the show at all.
I don't either. But hey,
Yeah.
I gotta go. Happy anniversary! Cool. You guys have fun.
Thanks for
Keep
stopping
on
by,
going,
man.
show back. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Just don't give up.
But well,
I can do it. You can do it.
Like I said, I've hung around for this long.
If a freaking idiot in a pink bunny outfit can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hail Deej.
Hail everyone.
Oh man.
Right on. I noticed that you're at 491, man. So you're really not that far away. And if you guys could like hit that thumbs up and share out this video, I'm sure we can get him over the fucking edge.
Dude,
Showback's been edging for 5 years.
I have. I've been at 400 and something for quite a while. But
yeah, and
I think I actually got up. I think I've actually lost a couple. I think I was actually up to more like 493 or something at one point.
I think that's what Tommy was saying earlier, man. Like the algorithm, like you'd almost get there, and then YouTube wants to go and clean out your fucking sub box, and it's like, well, shit, I worked this hard just to get here.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do the shorts or whatever, they don't have to be terribly long. All of my shorts are like 15 seconds or less. Yeah. And I'm just like running around talking about like Lao Tzu stuff. I don't even expect kids these days to understand half the shit I'm talking about, but it's important for me to talk about it.
Yeah. And once again, appreciate the people in the chat for tuning in.
I see a lot of familiar faces here. I see Bone. I see RR.
Yeah.
What up, Bone?
Thank you, Bone. I still prefer the doggy picture. No offense, but I mean, cats can be okay too, I suppose. But I don't think I'll ever have one again unless I live somewhere where I can let the damn thing out to do its
Once
business.
again, the pigs on the panel are getting no love. You talk
Yeah.
about cats and dogs. Where's the love for the pigs?
But
I want to see a short Tommy where like it's like Psycho, but it's going weak, weak, weak.
You know what? Oh God, I missed my opportunity. So there was an instance with the golden retriever we've been watching. I was talking to Shellback about it. So Stripe was let out of his cage because it was one of the times I hurt my back really bad and couldn't clean up their cages. So she was doing it for me while she was cleaning up Stripe's home, and he got out of his cage, and the dog was looking at Stripe, and Stripe started wiggling his booty and started going after the dog, and the dog ran from Stripe, hid under the bed, and I'm like, oh my God, why didn't you record that? I said, I could have put that with the freaking Norman Bates stuff, that music, and that would have been great.
Well, that's like Snow Dub was, talking to him one time, and he's like, he gets all kinds of traffic, on filming his Dobermans, but
yeah, he has that one he's raised since it was a pup, and he's gotten a lot of views because of that.
But
well, that's what I was telling Shellback earlier, Quill. I mean, sometimes there is no rhyme or reason, especially like with the games that YouTube plays. So I mean, you guys know I've been doing that BattleBot stuff for a while,
right?
And usually I was doing pretty good on the shorts, and then all of a sudden they dropped off the sheer face of a cliff, and it was like it made no sense. There was no rhyme or reason why they suddenly just stopped getting views. So then I switched some of them, like I get the requested fights from my commenters. So I'm doing all the requested fights now in full video format, and they might only be 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, depending on how long the fights go. So most of them, they're getting average views, but I've had a few that took off, and they've gotten, like, one got over 1,200 views out of nowhere. And I was like, well, how the hell did that happen? It's really no different than any of the other ones. I mean, it's in the same format that I've been doing for a while, and it made no sense. The next one I did, I think it might have gotten 50 or 60 views tops. A couple requested fights later, I had one that's like over 500. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to the way YouTube does this stuff. Because I mean, if it was the same similar type of content, and it's all in the same type of format, and it's all about the same viewing, as far as what the viewer's seeing, it's all basically done the same. And it's the same level of excitement and the same level of production that I'm doing on every single one. You would think that they would all be generally close, but they're not. There's no rhyme or reason to the way they do this shit at all.
I would notice that too, man. I do like 2-3 videos in a row. It's like 1.2K, 1.4K, 1.5K. And then suddenly the next one's like 74, 35. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm not doing anything differently. Maybe I'm not putting it out regularly. I know that the algorithm kind of likes that sometimes, but I think for me at least, it's usually topical. And if I can pick something my thing is savage spirituality. If I say something true, but say it kind of sideways, I get more engagement. And then I also noticed, and you might find this to be true too, Shell, like after I got past 500, I'm getting more audience engagement. And some of it is trolling, but that only really gives me the opportunity to clarify my original point. So, there's pluses and minuses to it.
Yeah.
But I think you can do it, man. I really think if you work Rudolph. See, when I'm not watching like angry pop culture things, one of the things I like to do is watch food porn because I'm poor and I can't really eat. So I like to watch there he is, Decepticon. I like to watch people cooking and enjoying their food. There's this fake food critic, and his name is Uncle Roger, and he's this like Asian guy that makes fun of people who can't cook fried rice, but he's totally putting on a character. It's really funny, dude. You should check him out. But he uses the corniest can, like. Go ahead.
I was just say fried rice or fried life.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and he puts on the accent too. He goes like, "What make you think you can't cook rice?" You know, and he has like catchphrases and shit. And he does a little bit of video editing, but he's working an alter ego, which you have with Rudolph. And I think if either Rudolph does something crazy like G.I. Joe PSAs, or you show how terrible a roommate he is, I really think you guys could like I think you could find a niche there if
You
you
know, you
want to
just
work
made
that
me
kind of
think
angle.
of yeah, you just made me think of somebody else though. I'm not sure. I can't. If I ever knew what his name was, I don't know. I can't. But anyway, he's like this African dude,
Okay.
and he talks. You know, he's like got a really high pitched voice, and he just does like these little, TikTok style, reactionary videos. And he, just like, what is wrong with you, and all this stuff, and um,
Yeah, see, Bone knows. He says Uncle Roger is great. Hiya. So that's one of he has like two catchphrases. He will rip on somebody. He'll be like hiya, and then if he likes what you're doing, he'll be like fuyo. But he sounds like Martin Yan from Yan Can Cook. You remember that guy in the '80s
yeah,
on PBS? Yeah,
yeah,
just like that.
Hey, what's going on, Decepticon?
uh, yeah. I threw up the horns for Decepticon, but
And Bone, no,
yeah.
it's never going to happen again. No more Tombstone versus Tombstone matches.
What?
You know what else you should do, Shellback? You know how you have Rudolph? You should make one out of a black sock.
Mm.
I mean, that might be a little racy, but
Rudolph's cousin.
yeah, something like that, or gym buddy or workmate or even arch rival. If he just comes around and fucks with Rudolph from time to time,
I've actually, well,
it's like spy versus
I've
spy, man.
yeah. I bought, so when I got uh when I got started on him, like I went to Walmart and I bought a 3-pack of socks, and I've actually worn a couple. So, but I do have, the other one, that hasn't been worn yet, like Rudolph, that I could make another one out of. But
You should make the other one like down on his luck, like a
yeah,
really ratty sock, like falling apart, like and all dirty and
well,
everything.
yeah.
It's been jacked off into.
Maybe he
Well,
has a crack addiction or something.
so there was one of the times, on Snowdub's channel, and like he can't remember exactly what happened, but anyway, I was off camera, and then when I got put on camera, and I just, kind of like had my hand up like this or whatever, and anyway, but I was like, oh fuck me, and oh, just stuff like this, and
That would be the yellow sock.
they well, I of course it sounded like, it sounded like I was saying fuck me, but anyway, I made it out to, I guess I plagiarized a little bit from Austin Powers. Remember the two Asian twins, fuck me and fuck you.
Fuck you, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I think Snow suggested a couple times that I take that, that other sock that hasn't actually been used yet, and make fuck me out of that sock. Make a female sock or whatever.
No. You should have
And I'm like,
Rudolph and you should have Brodolph.
yeah,
And Brodolph
but
should take the Tide
yeah.
Pod challenge. I'm telling you.
But the thing is, I told him though. I'm like, yeah, cause like, so how, like, Rudolph has got, the big round googly eyes or whatever, and I'm like, if I did a fuck me, at the risk of being, canceled by the wokies and stuff, I was like, if I made a fuck me, I would want her to, have the Asian eyes.
The slant,
And,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're being diverse, man. That's
But
No, let
what
me
you
tell
should
you
really
what.
do is
so,
If you get on the Wookiees' radar, though, that's the best thing that you could do. I mean,
wait.
you know, it's a shame that that's not my style of content, because I'm sure I could piss them off, and you know, once you piss them off, they're going to be watching to see what you're going to say offensive next.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really boosts your watch hours.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Well, you
that's
should.
the thing with that's the thing with people's channels. You know, it's like, you know, how many, you know, how many, you know, how much, what percentage of their audience or whatever are, you know, are the hate watchers, you know, versus, you know, but,
What you really need to do is put a chick in it and make it lame and gay.
yeah, that dude, that was so good.
Oh yeah.
That show was so good.
Well, it makes
Like,
me think that Trey and Matt were watching the
yeah,
Phantom Menace, at least for
you
part of
know,
it. Yeah.
but you know, it's like, yeah, fuck the deer, put a chicken in, make it lame and gay. You know, like, you know.
Oh, it's badass, man. And I think for at least a lot of normies who had a sense that there was something weird but couldn't quite put their finger on it, somebody like South Park going out on a limb and making it as public as they did,
Yeah.
really drew attention to a lot of problems that are going on.
Kathleen Kennedy is under my bed. You know, like,
That sounded a little more like Butters.
Eric, you know, well, yeah. I
That's
have
awesome.
to, yeah. I do kind of have to like tone it down a little bit if I want to sound more like Eric, you know, and more like Cartman. Yeah. You really
Well, and the
spit my
fact that
heart
there was a little bit of digs at Marvel too. So there was a multiverse there, and there were several
high.
Kathleen Kennedys, and then of course all the diversity replacements. You know, I
Yeah.
think Stan got swapped out for a Latina, and Cartman's all black, and you know, and Kenny she looked like Sabine Wren from the fucking Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
no, it's like, yeah, I mean, you know, I forget who, I don't know, I saw it on Twitter or whatever, and you know, it's like somebody was like, come on now, you have to admit it, you know, Kenny's kind of hot, you know, as an Asian chick.
They're gonna rule 34 Kenny, like female Kenny.
Which it's funny, you know, because you know, because she was, you know, being Kenny, you know, she was still focused on like, you know, somebody's titties, you know, like.
Oh yeah, it was gay. Yeah,
Mercy.
that's trippy, man. Well, 5 years. How do you feel about that, Shell?
Yeah, well, I'm at the, you know, it's like, where'd the time go? But
No, I hear you. You and I think we started around the same time because as soon as we figured out that we were both local, we started collaborating a lot more. And then, of course, we hit that Comic-Con for the first time. But yeah, before that, I even remember seeing you around in like high council chats, and because you were Hallmark Jeremy for a little while.
yeah.
Yeah, you actually got to
that,
meet Jeremy face to face.
yeah, I made it down to Orlando. What was it, last year? Yeah.
How was that, man? What kind of a dude does he strike you as?
Alright. He seemed pretty cool. You know, you know, he's kind of busy, you know, making the rounds, but you know,
Sure.
yeah, I'd you know, I wouldn't mind an opportunity to, you know, to actually, you know, hang out uh, a little bit, but you know, he seemed like, you know, seemed like a cool dude, you know, and I it's funny though, because like uh now I'm more into watching him on his D-Day Cobra channel. than
Yeah.
I am, than I am the other stuff. But but yeah, the uh, what was it? Uh, the the one dude that I got to actually kind of hang out with though was Jay, drunk 3PO.
Oh yeah.
We uh, he a bunch of us met him at SeaWorld, and we hung, a group of us hung out at SeaWorld all day one day.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was actually on one of Jay's first like live streams before he was like a big shot. And he's always been pretty consistent of character from what I've seen. Very charismatic, very personable, entertaining. You know, he can hold a conversation. Um, but once he started covering like Galaxy's Edge and all that kind of stuff, man, he exploded. And now he's like rubbing shoulders with the big guys.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a
well,
trip, man.
I mean, Gina, Gina. I think his first boost came from Gina.
Absolutely, it
Um,
did.
but yeah, the trash talking videos about
About the Star Cruiser.
about the Star Cruiser.
You
Yeah,
remember that
it's
like blonde Mickey Mouse Club looking kid who was like walking around with his jaw open and he's making like donut lips and just like whoa.
no, I don't remember that guy.
Well, they brought out this
Yeah,
kid for a promo, and it was like the captain of the fucking ship was like welcoming him to Galaxy's Edge land, and he's just walking around like acting super impressed about it. And
yeah,
it got so ratioed that Disney ended up killing it, but Jay saved that clip and he uses it from time to time. It's pretty
yeah.
funny.
Bone. To my knowledge, Jay is the taller. Jay's like five. Jeez, no, that's me. Jay's like 6'4", and yeah, Jay's 6'4", and I think Jeremy is 6'1". So
There's some tall boys.
yeah, but
Did
it's fun.
did
It's
Jeremy
funny though.
recognize you as Hallmark Jeremy?
Uh, I don't even know.
You didn't have
I mean,
Probably didn't have enough time to discuss
possibly.
it, huh?
I've slept since then, so
Yeah.
but um, yeah, no, it's funny though because I actually was kidding around with Jay, and I'm like, I was like, okay, I know you're supposed to be 6'4", but you don't seem that tall in person, you know. But which what 6'4" is what 10 inches taller than me.
Oh
So
yeah. So he
yeah,
definitely knows when it's raining first.
but he's a he is a big boy, but I which I wouldn't I actually wouldn't mind you know hanging out more with him too. But the one dude that needs to uh, that I need to hook up with, actually you and I both, is the the guy that's supposed to be from this area.
Oh yeah.
Um, but he's he's stuck down there in Arizona.
Yeah, he couldn't deal with the politics out here, and
Mhm.
sometimes I don't blame him. You know, they passed that AR-15 law in Olympia, and one of the gun stores that I used to go to in Tacoma all the time like folded within a month
Yeah.
because those black rifles were a big part of their business. And then we had Aero Precision is actually a manufacturer out here, and I don't know if they're still around or if they decided to take their business elsewhere, but I think they would be wise if they did it. I know the NRA
I
and
don't know.
shit's well, I know the NRA and shit's like trying to push back against that bill, but I mean, the way the courts are ran,
Well, so if for anybody who might be watching that don't know, we are uh, uh, residents of the state of Washington, um, and we have Governor Jay Inslee, who is basically Gavin Newsom 2.0.
Yeah.
And for those of us who like to exercise our Second Amendment right, he is trying to throw a monkey wrench into that. And so
Well, they're trying to make
there,
like the West Coast like
yeah,
all congruent state policies, and
yeah,
there's parts of Seattle that are rapidly approaching Portland status, which both of those
yeah.
places are deplorable. Man, it's
But yeah,
yeah.
we we
You know what? I just want to throw my 2 cents in here right now. I think it would be absolutely grand if every last one of you people on this planet lost your ability to carry guns. It's going to make it a lot easier for us criminal pigs to take over the world.
Well, thank you, criminal pig.
yeah,
That's
That Joker pig, man, that guy, he's got
but
some nerve.
yeah,
yeah.
there's definitely a push for civilian disarmament on this side of the country.
Well, they're even demonizing it in the press. They're saying like assault rifles and semi-automatic weapons.
Yeah.
And if you say semi-automatic weapon, that by definition means it's not a machine gun. It's just a regular functioning sidearm, or rifle or
Well,
whatever.
who was it? One of these fucking dumbass freaking uh, blue city politicians or whatever um, actually used the term assault pistol somewhere.
Assault pistol.
But
What the
yeah,
fuck is that? It's like he's probably talking about a Glock with like a
they're
30
like,
round mag. Huh?
Well, by definition, they absolutely have no clue what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because by definition, something that was considered an assault rifle was something that was able to switch between semi-automatic and fully automatic. It was never intended to say, "Oh, a semi-automatic is an assault rifle." Because by definition, that's not what it is. But they are trying to change that definition just by sheer will of putting it out there in the press.
Well, it's actually a bullshit term anyway.
Mhm.
There's no such thing as an assault rifle or whatever. It's
Well, guns have no volition of their own.
Yeah, they're just they're just rifles. They're just firearms. They're just pistols. The rate of fire doesn't mean shit because at the founding of this as shitty as it is right now, it's still a great country. At the beginning of the United States being born, muskets, those were the assault weapons. Those were what people were.
Top technology of their time.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about those idiots that cry that kind of shit. Even if just saying if they were to get their way and they were told, well, you could have black powder. If everybody had a Gatling gun sitting on their lawn, they would cry that they need to be taken away too. They always move the goalposts. These people, they just never stop.
Yeah.
As they're surrounded by armed security and gated communities.
Right. But what I'm saying though is that and when they use the term weapons of war, anything and everything can be a weapon of war and has been. At one time a rock was a
That's true.
But
about that.
Actually, still being used today in certain countries in that direction. They're like, oh wait, I'm going to throw a rock at you. Anyway.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah. We're gonna get canceled now for being,
I guess so. Well, it's been a good 5 years, Shelley. It's been nice seeing you, dude.
For being racist, like, oh, you can't say that. You know,
Right.
like,
Well, that's
like,
what they
yeah,
say.
no, yeah, right. Yeah, like, oh, look at you, you're anti this or anti that or whatever. You're a who what supreme and all this stuff. And like, no, not really. But
I'm not a nasty. I might have shaved my head, but I'm not one.
yeah,
Actually, rocking the Walter White there.
mm-mm. Well, no, well, Walter had the chin whiskers, but
Had the full goat.
I've decided to forego that at least for a while. I'm like, there's less there's less white there's less white on my face when I don't
Your
have
Walter
the
not as white.
yeah.
Eh.
But yeah, no, right now I'm like uh who would I be right now? A bald headed machete or whatever, I guess.
There you go. You got to get
But
yourself like a black cowboy hat. You kind of look like you're rocking that kind of facial hairstyle.
yeah.
Just-
Only if I had the good, the bad, and the ugly music for when I walked
yeah,
into
there
a
you go.
room.
Totally
Walk
walk up
walk
to a customer. You're like,
yeah,
"Can I help you,
walk
man?"
into a room. Like wah wah wah. But
Yeah, Londy.
yeah,
That's right.
but it or walk up to somebody and be like, I don't need no stinking badges. But
Right.
yeah, it's I don't
Well,
know.
if they ask you for your badge, Shellback, they're a bunch of slack jaw bundle of sticks. Take it from me. I know.
Thanks, Gov.
Get to the chopper. Do it now. Uh,
Oh man, that's cool.
all right, but
So
yeah,
where do you see yourself in another 5 years?
oh god. Well, I don't know. I mean, if things don't turn around this next year, probably living in some cave with a uh assault rifle on my back. Uh,
Right, because all the electric cars would have been killed for bad
yeah,
habits on X, and then everybody's going to be competing for
right.
resources.
Have you
But
seen this?
yeah.
He is known to have an assault rifle, an assault chair, assault mop. He needs to be taken in. Highly dangerous.
Now,
Right.
one of two things, and within the next 5 years, one of two things. Either I'm going to, uh, you know, have a good job and actually, be able to rub a couple of pennies together and, have nice things, or I'm going to be surviving the apocalypse. One of the two. I don't know. But
Right, you're going to have to teach Rudolph how to shoot, man.
Oh no, he knows. But
Well, in 5 years, we're kind of
he's
hoping for the
actually
apocalypse.
he actually hangs out on my my primary shooting hand, but
Oh, there you go.
yeah. Well, at least for pistols, like when I'm shooting my 9, I do it right-handed, but if I have a long gun, I do it left-handed because
Interesting.
my the way my vision is, I can I get what is it? I'm left eye dominant or whatever. So, when it comes to, trying to shoot a rifle and look down it with my right eye, it's not like I kind of have to close my left, but if I shoot left-handed, I can keep both eyes open and still,
Kind of side eye it, yeah.
focus, down range.
Well, Shellback, I was
But
going to say, if the apocalypse does come, I don't think you have a lot to worry about because I've seen the videos of these modern individuals that be out there and be your enemies, and I am not worried at all about their shooting abilities. I mean, I seen the one where the guy's holding a shotgun, straight
Yeah.
armed up in the air, and then fires it, and it comes back and hits him
Yeah.
right in the face. I don't
Right in
think
the
I am
face.
too worried about these guys. They're going to take
Yeah.
themselves out.
Well, I mean, you know, if shit hit the fan today, like right now, I would have I have 700 and some odd rounds to get myself out of here. So, which it's funny because you know I've actually had people be like, you know, it's like you have how much, you know, you got how many bullets, you know, and I'm like that's not a lot.
That's not enough. Yeah,
I'm like
I hear that.
it's like if I had if things were a little bit more uh, financially positive around this place, you know, it my ammunition count would be in the thousands.
Oh, sure.
But yeah,
Well, I remember that time we went around to all the gun shops looking at rifles. So that's
mm,
always in the works. I have about 80% of the components I need to make my own, but I don't know that I can legally acquire the rest of them now that Olympia is all
yeah.
fucked up. You know?
Well, like I told you, and it's not just for people who live here in the state of Washington. If you live in another state, this would still be a good channel for you guys to check out. Because the guy's a lawyer, um, and but he, you know, he talks about Illinois and New York and you know other places where they're trying to do stupid shit with the Second Amendment. Uh, but anyway, the guy's name is William Kirk, and the channel name is Washington Gun Law,
Okay.
and it's a good channel for those of us who are Second Amendment aficionados. So
Yeah,
I highly recommend him. And another one that I like is a lady called her channel's called Liberty Doll.
I've heard of her. I think Drew
And
might have had her on
yeah,
Resistance
she
once or twice.
she I don't know about I don't know if you're thinking about the same gal, but
Maybe Tommy knows.
anyway, her there's Liberty Doll, and she talks about she talks about gun stuff, but she also talks about you know other stuff that's uh, in the realm of quote unquote liberty. And she also recently started up a channel where she shows you how to you know grow stuff in the garden and you know like a prepper type of channel. And she was I think she was in Massachusetts when I first started watching her. But uh, they ended up her and her family ended up moving down to like North or South Carolina, one of the two, one of the Carolinas, where you know there's more freedom than fucking Massachusetts. Which it's funny the the place that was kind of the birth the birthplace of our country is and fighting for liberty and whatnot, Boston Tea Party, all that shit.
Hmm.
Now they're now it's almost like the opposite, but which so if you're if you're if you want to live, move to and or live in New England, I would suggest New Hampshire. Um, they uh, their
I
state
thought
motto
Vermont's a constitutional
yeah,
carry too.
the the New Hampshire motto is "Live free or die." and they do a pretty good job of sticking with that. But
Yeah, poor DJ Ronnie G. He says we don't have a 2A in New York City.
right, yeah, no, you're freaking your politicians need to be uh, put up against the wall, in my humble, non-violent opinion. Um,
Sure. Well, I
but
know that it's been challenged in the Supreme Court, but again, that shit's like
mm,
bureaucratic hell, and people are
yeah.
gonna push back, and
Well,
the attorney generals and all that
yeah.
kind of shit.
Well,
Yeah.
they keep coming up with stuff. So I don't know. It's
Well, you know what?
like I said.
Here's the thing with a lot of those liberal infested cities like that. If they want to bitch and they want to say that they don't want 2A, you know what? Have their state amend that they can't have 2A anymore. Okay, all right, fine. That's what you want. That's what you get. So when you have criminals taking over your streets who are obviously going to abide by that, there's no way they're going to carry guns. So don't complain about it because you got exactly what you wanted. You got exactly what you wanted. And when you go to hell in a handbasket, all the corporations and businesses move out of your cities. You got no one to blame but yourself. So there you go.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Well,
You too can be
and
Detroit.
yeah. Well, the thing is, it's if think a certain way, they disarm they disarm the population. They take our Second Amendment away from us, and then so to make it to kind of like make us more reliant upon the authorities to take care of things, and which it doesn't work, never works that way. But when they're the ones that have all the firepower and all that stuff, then they can go to just like martial law and all that other stuff. And
That's true.
so that's what they're shooting for.
Yeah, and like I said, and let them have
regardless of what they say to our faces.
I truly believe you let them have it. You let them have it. But here's what you do. There's another stipulation involved with that. Since you don't want to abide by what is the constitutional rights and federal laws of this land, and if you want to do your own thing in those cities, you are no longer protected by the government. So when shit goes to hell, you cannot call in federal aid. You can't bring in National Guard. You can't do any of that shit anymore. You are isolated and on your own living little freaking private hell. There you go. Boom.
There you go.
That's how you deal with that kind of problem.
That's what happened when Bane took over Gotham. Yeah. Well, shit, Shelly. I want to wish you a happy 5 years, buddy. I got to get ready for work and get that whole wheelhouse going. Tommy, it's always a pleasure seeing you, man. You are a stand-up, solid dude. A-okay in my fucking book. I really miss hanging around you guys. I got a night job, and like Saturday and Sunday is pretty much the only time I got to fucking chew the fat.
I appreciate it.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
we've been this thing's been going for an hour and 43 minutes, and so I don't know if anybody else was going to try and show up, but I think I think we've done pretty good, and we'll just go ahead and
we haven't been shut down by YouTube, so we must not have done too bad.
We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up with you guys, and
sure.
But I do appreciate people stopping by in the audience to hear all this bullshitting that we've been doing, and appreciate you guys for actually coming on to the panel, because it would have been a lot shorter of a stream had you not.
Yeah.
But
well, you should never talk bad about your height like that. Just deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, I trust me. I'm at terms, you know, I'm at peace with being horizontally or not vertically, not horizontal, vertically challenged. Yeah, that's the
Well,
because
as long
yeah,
as you're
this
long in the
direction,
pants, it makes up
this
for the rest
direction,
of it,
not that
man.
direction. I mean, you know, I'm good enough, I suppose. Anyway, uh, if you know, uh, never mind. Anyway, uh, appreciate everybody stopping by, and I'll uh, I'll see you, or we'll see you when we see you. Would you guys? Do you guys? Either one of you guys have anything you want to promote before we hit the button here?
Well, I know in a little later I'll be over on Vinny Art's channel. He's doing his Sunday roundtable stream. We sometimes get a little heavy into topics, and usually he saves that for the Rumble portion of things. So he'll start off on YouTube. We'll hit a few, I guess you could say, YouTube friendly topics, and then we usually run over to Rumble, and then we start talking all kinds of shit. So that's usually the way it rolls on Sunday nights for the collective, hanging out with Vinny. So
There
guys,
you go.
if you have a chance, stop by, say hi to Vinny Art, and hang out and probably listen to us talk about some absolute nonsense. Usually, he delves in a lot of the same topics that you hit. Right, we hit a little bit here, but usually gets in a little bit more depth about what's going on, like at that moment. A lot of that stuff tends to revolve around the nonsense of the left and what they're pushing and all the other shit. I'm sure there'll be talk about Alex Jones coming back to Twitter.
Oh yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? I never know what's going to go
Yeah,
on there. So
yeah. I saw a tweet from Jeremy Griggs, and I replied with you know the how glorious the freaking meltdown is going to be. You know.
Toxic Avenger style meltdowns.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, oh my
Well,
God, you let him back on here. Oh my God.
well, right on, guys. My name's Immortal Coil. You can find me live on late night Sundays. I do a savage spirituality stream where we're just kind of shooting straight from the hip and giving it to you with an attitude. That's the only way I know how to say it. We're also working the trans fat guys. We're working on reviving the Gender Check show, which, if everything works out, would be Sunday mornings. So that's what I got going on. Feel free to swing by. I just hit 500 subs. I need some watch hours to help get me monetized. It's been a long time coming. Like I said, standing toe to toe with Shelly for a long time, in the same fucking position, just not getting seen by the algorithm or purposefully suppressed. I'm not sure what the fuck. But come on by and check some shit out. I got some really good live streams. Think you guys would dig it.
Yeah.
And then
And
hit the thumbs up and share out this video too, man. Get Shelly over the fucking hump.
and you know, like I said, I haven't really been doing any much of anything on this channel. I've just primarily been uh, in Rudolph mode for a while, and you can catch that guy on Snowdub Music and Entertainment channel on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Maybe not always on Tuesday or Wednesday, but usually always on Fridays and Saturdays. Um, in fact, he uh, Rudolph kind of has his own show now with Punkwaddle, the Penguin.
Cool.
It was Fiesta Friday or whatever with that damn ass freaking stupid ass El Perro dog. But me and or I should say Rudolph and Punkwaddle kind of hijacked it from him and turned it into Fajita Friday. And of course, there's the Cotton Council on Saturdays. which I think it's only got like a few more episodes. And then Snow's gonna switch back over to like the Tuck and Roll show or something. So anyway, check all that stuff out from all of us, and have a good rest of your Sunday.
You
And
can go wherever you want, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, time to go back to work tomorrow for some of you guys. So peace be with ye. In nomine Patre, whatever. And bye.
And stay away from feminine peen.
Oh, thank you for that last little tidbit. Oh, come on. I hit the button and it didn't work. All right, bye.